Parenting is one of the hardest jobs in the world, and sometimes it feels like no matter how much you give, it's never enough. Let me tell you about a moment in my life that tested me in ways I never expected. A moment where my teenage daughter, in the heat of her anger, shouted words that cut deeper than she could have imagined. I'm a 44-year-old father, divorced for 8 years, raising my 16-year-old daughter Amanda mostly on my own. My ex-wife, Melissa, lives across the country chasing her dream career, and only visits Amanda once or twice a year. That means the day-to-day, the school mornings, the meals, the arguments, the celebrations, and the tears. They've all been my responsibility. I've done my best, but as any parent of a teenager knows, it's not always easy. Amanda recently started dating a boy named Jason. He's 17, and I'll be honest, he's exactly the kind of boy I hoped she would stay away from. He's got a record for shoplifting, he skips classes, drives recklessly, and worst of all, treats my daughter with complete disrespect. Naturally, I've voiced my disapproval. So last Friday, when she asked to go to a house party with him, I told her no. That's where everything went downhill. Amanda exploded. She screamed that I was ruining her life, that I didn't understand her, and then she shouted words that froze me where I stood. She said, "I wish you were dead. Mom's new boyfriend is more of a dad to me than you'll ever be. When I turn 18, I'm leaving you forever." I can't even describe what it felt like to hear that. Every sacrifice I've made for her, every time I've stayed up late to help her with homework, every worry, every prayer for her safety, all dismissed in one cruel outburst. But instead of yelling back or trying to reason with her, something inside me shifted. I looked at her calmly and said, "Noted, sweetheart." She stormed off to her room, probably expecting me to chase after her as I usually did. But I didn't. If she wanted me dead in her world, I decided I would show her what that would feel like. The very next morning, I stopped doing everything that had kept her life comfortable. Dead people don't make breakfast, so she had to figure it out herself. Dead people don't give rides, so she took the bus. Dead people don't hand out lunch money, so when she asked, I just looked past her. Dead people don't pay for phone bills, data plans, or streaming services, so I let those run out. At first, she thought it was some kind of twisted joke. She'd roll her eyes, wave her hands in front of my face, say, "Dad, come on, this is stupid." But I stayed silent. When she talked to me, I gave her nothing. At dinner, I cooked for one. In the evenings, I watched TV alone. When she passed by me in the hallway, I didn't acknowledge her existence. My phone started buzzing with calls from Melissa. Apparently, Amanda had called her crying, saying I was ignoring her, but I didn't answer. Dead people don't pick up the phone. Was it petty? Maybe. But I had reached my breaking point. For years, I had been the only parent actually raising Amanda, while Melissa played the role of the fun mom twice a year. Yet somehow, I was always the bad guy. A few days into my silent protest, Amanda decided to bring Jason over. She thought having him there would force me to interact, but when I saw them sitting on the couch, I just walked past them, made myself a sandwich, and went into my office. I could hear her trying to explain to him that I was being psycho and ignoring her for no reason. Jason even had the nerve to knock on my door and accuse me of being immature. I didn't even glance up from my laptop. Not long after, my sister Stephanie came over. Melissa had called her, hoping she'd talk sense into me. But Stephanie knows the whole story. She knows how much I've done for Amanda, how much Melissa has abandoned her responsibilities. Stephanie took one look at Amanda sulking on the couch and said, "Why the long face, honey? I thought you'd be happy now that your dad's dead to you." Amanda broke down crying, begging her aunt to make me stop. Stephanie shrugged and said, "Make who stop? I don't see anyone here." Then Amanda stormed off to her room and Stephanie high-fived me. We had coffee together while she sipped some wine, and she told me about the texts Melissa had been sending. Apparently, Melissa's boyfriend Timothy, the one Amanda claimed was her real dad, was telling Melissa that I was emotionally abusing Amanda. This man has met her 3 times in his life, and now he's trying to play Father of the Year from a distance. Stephanie told Melissa maybe she should try actually being a parent instead of outsourcing it to her boyfriend. The best part came later that day. Amanda's phone got shut off. I had always been paying for it, but the account was in my name. When autopay failed, I simply didn't renew it. Dead people can't authorize payments. She had to use the landline to call her friend, and I overheard her saying she didn't mean it when she wished I was dead, that I was taking it too far. But the damage was done. The following morning, Amanda missed her school bus because she overslept. She came downstairs at 8:45, panicked, and found me calmly drinking coffee. School starts at 8:50. She asked for a ride, but I just sipped my coffee and didn't move. Dead people don't give rides. By the third day, her entire tone started changing. Instead of demanding, she was asking softly. Instead of ignoring me, she was trying desperately to get me to talk. The silent treatment, the cold absence, was working better than 1,000 arguments ever could. And finally, she broke. She came into the kitchen with tears in her eyes, sat down at the table and whispered, "Dad, please stop. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I don't want you gone. I just said it because I was mad." I didn't rush to comfort her. I let her sit in that discomfort, let her feel the weight of what those words had cost. After a long pause, I finally looked at her and said, "Words matter, Amanda. When you tell someone you wish they were dead, you can't just take it back. But I'm still here. I've always been here. And all I want is for you to realize who's really in your corner." That conversation opened her eyes in a way I never could have imagined. She started to realize that parenting isn't about being the fun parent or the strict parent. It's about the one who shows up every day, who sacrifices, who stays when it's hard. And while I know we'll still have our struggles as she grows, she learned a valuable lesson. Love isn't measured in gifts or freedom. It's measured in presence and commitment. Parenting is never easy, and teenagers will test you in ways you never thought possible. But sometimes, the best way to teach them is not with anger or punishment, but with silence and boundaries that show them the truth of their words. So to every parent out there struggling, know this: you are not alone. The hard moments don't erase the love you've given. Sometimes they're the very moments that teach your child what love truly is. Thank you for spending your time with me today. I wish you strength, patience, and peace in your own journey. Take care of yourself, and may your days ahead be filled with understanding, forgiveness, and love.